This example is going to use the double angle formula. The reason that I can identify that looking at it is because you can see one angle here, which is alpha over 2, is half of this one, or in other words, this angle is double this one, so it's going to be like a 2x situation. So if we think about this one here as being our 2x angle and this one being our x angle, we can actually think about this whole problem in a different way. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to let's actually write this down. We'll let 2x equal alpha, or alpha equal 2x, and we're going to let x equal alpha on 2. So let's rewrite our question now. We have cos of 2x, I should say cos of 2x equals 0.7. And this is provided that alpha, okay, now remember that alpha in this case is related to 2x. So we actually has provided that 2x is an element of 3 pi on 2 to 2 pi. What we've actually done here in effect with this is we've actually changed our domain in terms of x, not in terms of alpha. So let's rewrite this now. We want x to be written as a domain here. So x is divide both sides by 2 to get the x on its own. So this is now going to be between 3 pi on 4 and pi. So thinking about the unit circle now, we're actually looking at 3 pi on 4, which is here, and pi. So it's this region in here, okay, that we're looking at. So let's think about the problem now. We've re-expressed, and I should say what we're trying to find. We're trying to find sine of x. Okay. Now what we can do is look at our formulas here. We know what cos 2x is. That's in our formula. We need sine of x. Now there's a few options here. This one we can rule out because it has cos x, and this one as well. So I'm not going to use those ones. So we're going to use the compound angle formula, that cos of 2x equals 1 minus 2 sine squared x. Okay, so using that, we already know that cos of 2x is 0.7. We know we've got 1 minus 2 sine squared x. Now in this example here, it tells us that sine is going to be positive. So we know that even though we're going to get two branches here, we're going to end up with a positive sign. I'm just going to re-express this. I'm going to move this 2 sine squared x over to the left, so it's positive, equals 1, and I'm just going to move the 0.7 over so it becomes a negative on this side. And so we end up with sine squared of x equals 1 minus 0.7 over 2. Okay, and again with this, we're going to then look at taking the square root, and you can do this with your calculator. We know this is going to be positive because we've figured that out from our quadrant. So you're going to find that your answer for this is going to be square root of 0.15 if you put that into your calculator. Now, because the question is asking you to find this, and everything here is, so this is a decimal, you could give your answer as a decimal, but because you really should give things in exact form if you can, we're going to do that. So this is the square root of 15 hundredths. How do I know? Because there are 2 decimal points here, so that's hundredths, or 2 decimal places, I should say. Remember your rule for surds, if you have square root of a on b, it's the square root of a on the square root of b. So this is really the square root of 15 over the square root of 100. So therefore, to finish us off, we have sine of x. Now remember that x is alpha on 2. So let's write that in at the end. What that does is it just, I guess, finalises the question in terms of what we were given. It doesn't make sense to use x in our answer at the end because that's not what we started with. We just did that so we could use the double angle formula. So we're going to have alpha on 2, which is square root of 15 on 10.